Here we go for another rock and roll time too. Let the main out. Children are happy. Children are happy. Children are happy, joyous, playing safely. That's the most important thing. Gotta move out of the way. Sun's shining. Let's go get that main out. A day working 2 days before Halloween. Put up some of that work, but how much the work was here done to get these poles up. Hydro-Quebec workers from the 20th century, LOV, butchers, bakers, nurses, doctors, grocery store clerks, rock and roll for them. That 24/7 beautiful flowers, and you in Montreal, Belle Province, do a meditation for the North American Collective. Just finished a little bit of work and marched to work 1 hour and a half. We're gonna march back about an hour and a half, 2 hours, so that's gonna clock in about 3.5 hours plus physical labor. Thinking about the butchers right now, the bakers, the nurses, the grocery store clerks, and all involved in the production, distribution of food, and go for that fitness exercise, and Habs go reduce those ticket costs by 44.9%. NFL, National Football League, NHL, National Hockey League, NBA, MLB, time to reduce the cost and meditate on how these poles, see poles of transmission lines, that's how we get the plug into the phone and we get that electricity. Thank you, workers of the 20th century who build a massive telecommunications infrastructure like this one. See these big metal, steel, security service, gotta get that rock and roll for that XYZ. And you know, for the Hydro-Quebec here in Quebec, North America, we do not pollute, and it gives to about 6 states now, all the way to Manhattan. So even the dog says, yes, go Hydro-Quebec workers of the past and present and future, go. Let's build some more dams, train conductors, butchers, bakers, nurses, those who change some of those diapers in the daycares across North America. Always gotta be meditating, thinking, drilling for them as well. And gotta let my little main out as we go reach it out, and all the way for the public transportation. Get my sun, the Pope shining in the morning. Sun now rises and now sets, and we got a little bit of that collective gardening here, or public gardening, if you will. And gotta salute the bus drivers across North America. North Americans unite, support the North American Collective Workers Party, North American Collective Workers Party, North American Collective Workers Party. And you know, we're putting on for that XYZ. We're putting on for those workers in the past and workers in the present. Takes a little bit out of old school with a new school. It's not all about new school, all about old school. Sometimes you got to find that concordum in the middle. Rock and roll, shake those hips. You know how we go. For the true, no strong and free. Got to get some more of that freedom with that liberty and that, and a little bit of sharing of that prosperity. It ain't all about the money. Hey, Wall Street closing bells. Give some chatty. Hey, I wish I would have given a little bit of chatty for the Halloween. Just set up some Halloween decorations. I wanted to be reduce the cost by half, you know, because, you know, not about them, I would have done a little bit of financing of the children's joy. For many families are struggling financially, so we got to get that relief. And here I am, survive COVID. COVID was hardcore for me. It was like death, pestilence, and disease, like death, pestilence, and disease, death, pestilence, and disease, death, pestilence, and disease, like that. Death, pestilence, and disease. I know it sounds like a rock and roll hardcore song, but kind of that was like how I felt for me, you know, when I had it. And here on the march, marching to my headquarters now, encouraging all to work hard, train, exercise, and got a day's work. Gonna go get 3 items specifically, maybe gonna get 5, but gonna get milk, some cheese, and gonna give me something sweet to go along for the Tuesday. And tomorrow's another day, rock and roll now. Somebody making good love and give him a hug like you never hugged before is the main message. I had COVID back in February 2020, March 2020, and here we are marking 5 years since I predicted an international conflagration as a geopolitical theoretical analyst and theorist. Having Asperger's, being an Aspie is HFA, high-functioning autism. It's Asperger's. High-functioning autism is just Asperger's. And, you know, I'm part of a minority, part of the LGBTQ community, played out black and white on rainbow. LGBTQ being rainbow dragon right here, rock and roll artist, athlete, philosopher, geopolitical, theoretical analyst, and got an Asperger's, HFA, sorry, 24/7 it, HFA, high functioning autism, or also known as Asperger's. I use both. No point in arguing which one's which. I have the symptoms which I have to manage, and not to get too close, not to, of course, repeat things twice, 3 times, or echolalia, or, of course, my trinity of obsessive interest, because we Aspies, being an Aspie myself, we have obsessive interest. So my trinity is geopolitics 24/7, to study the analysis of geopolitics, rock and roll, and, of course, sports, fitness, and dancing is my favorite sport. Dancing is my favorite sport. I can dance for hours. You know, you get that rainbow double trouble, and dancing is my favorite sport. But I love to arbeit, love to get that work done. And you know, I had employment during COVID, but due to the HFA condition, high functioning autism, Asperger's, it has been a more difficult road to have a maintenance and stable employment. Long term duration was usually a few months, and a few weeks, and you know, something which, of course, over the past 45 months, I've learned to understand and appreciate my condition, and then take the appropriate measures, of course, to work with it, and within the context of neurodivergent, because since due to the fact that Asperger's is not NOT a mental illness, is not NOT a mental illness, it is a neurological mental divergent condition which makes me predisposed to obsessive interest of echolalia, the symptom of Asperger's. There's also echolalia, meaning repeating the exact same phrase, sentence that somebody might say, or going on and on and on and on about the topic of interest, which are obsessive interest. And that's 24/7 with me. Geopolitics, the study, the analysis of geopolitical theoretics and events. Geopolitical events concur and happen every day. Even now, there's geopolitics going to be on the news. It's 24/7 for me. Revising geopolitics, and prediction, and making predictions and prognostications of geopolitics, and sports and fitness, dancing being my favorite sport, and rock and roll, photos on the road. Hey, it ain't all about the money that Wall Street. Let's go. Get me some of that brains and that muscle. You know that I love that rock and roll. Gotta ask me that obsessive. Look at the blue sky. Sometimes we just gotta stress it. Take a bath, I'm ready to see. Take a bath, I'm ready to be. Take a bath, you're ready to see. Take a bath, you're ready to be. Take a bath, you're ready to be. Take a bath, you're ready to see. Take a bath, you're ready to be. Take a bath, you're ready to be. Take a bath, I'm in with me, with the river by the island. That's the Montreal metropolis. We got layer of the dragon. We got layer of the dragon. We got layer of the dragon. You know, I'll play a rainbow. Grateful, thankful that my rent's paid, electricity bill's paid, got food and coffee. Although financially stressed, you know. I'm just financially stressed today. I'm just financially stressed. My only stress is financial. My only stress is financial. My only stress right now is financial. So my only stress is financial now. And you know, I like to get a little bit of that rock and roll, and get a little bit of that rock and roll with it. And that's 24/7 with me. And you know, it's something which I gotta admire. Look at that beautiful red being my favorite color. But so beautiful trees here. Is 2 more days to go for that October. 2 more days to go for that October. 2 more days, eh? For that October, we're gonna get in that Halloween. I just wanted the tickets to be reduced. And the cost of the tickets for the NFL, I'm referring to the NFL National Football League, NHL National Hockey League, NBA National Basketball Association, MLB. I wish there would be a little bit of that reduction, just a little bit of that reduction of the prices. And for the Halloween, I wanted to see some mass financing, you know, of this is a nice North American holiday, which I love, and I got my makeup, this is basically, it's what I'm going to be dressed as a rainbow type of magician so I got something which I'm not going to spend money, but I'm going to get dressed because I love Halloween. So I'm going to dress up, baby. That's what I do, in rock and roll it, and encouraging all the workout, train, exercise, and gratitude is super important for mental health. You know, civilization is a privilege. That was my thesis back in 2023. Last year I presented my thesis, which is, of course, the privilege of civilization. My thesis was, of course, the privilege of civilization, and that was, of course, my thesis, the privilege of civilization. And of course, civilization is a privilege, and I love rock and rolling, I love working out, training, exercising, I love, of course, getting on that DRT, that refusion tea, which we got to implement, which I'm going to discuss now. Super important for me to discuss it, the DRT, because it is the solution for where we are now. And I'm going to just cross the street and I'm going to quickly discuss the DRT, the debt refusion theory. Paradoxically, where we are now with the public finance, there's no other solution but my DRT, debt refusion theory. Paradoxically, you know, because in some things I am myself mediocre, in some things I am myself average, in some things I am myself so-so, while being so-so, while being average, while being mediocre in certain things, I can be in parallel excellent, super and very good to geopolitics, to the point, of course, that I predicted what's happening now in a general manner. I predicted it back in October 2019, so I'm marking 5 years. That means beast in French, that means beast in French, that means beast. Bet is beast in French, bet is beast. How it's written there means beasts, and sometimes we gotta play beasts, and we gotta play. It's not all about strength, it's not all about force. Sometimes it's loving. It ain't all about fighting. Supporting this Kamala with trains of kisses and LOV. Take some of that LOV. Eh? It's not all about fighting. It's not all about fighting. It's not all about fighting. It's, you know, we got to complement together. We got to get that complementary facts, and we got to get it on the go. And that's what we got to get doing with that sometimes. We just got to do. And of course, my DRT theory is, I know it to be the only solution where we are now at this point in time. So, well, at least with the public finances, so we're going to interject, go by here again, as we did a little bit of that last time, because here we're in the Angry Neon Park, so we can navigate it in this beautiful park. And here in Montreal metropolis, 2.5 million people, we're blessed to have nature and space here where we can, of course, go work out, go for a jog, go for a picnic. But now the weather is changing, but you know I'm on that 24/7, all seasons, all terrain, rainbow dragon. Going to discuss that. DRT, super important to discuss the DRT. Paradoxically, is the only solution. What is the DRT? The DRT stands for D for debt, R refusion, T for theory. So the motive and the reason why I do say that my DRT theory, which is a financial theory, is the only solution, is to the fact that now we pay on interest in the public debt of Canada. And paradoxically, this comes of me being an ASPI, having HFA, high functioning autism, that of course I have obsessive interest. And one of my obsessive interests, of the holy trinity of obsessive interest of yours truly, philosopher, geopolitical theoretical analyst, an artist, an athlete, and mystic, is of course geopolitics. And when you study geopolitics, you got to know a little bit about public finance. So of course now we pay 46.5 billion in interest. This year, the fiscal year 2023, we pay 46.5 billion. 46.5 billion. We pay 46.5 billion in interest. Last time, I believe we took that route. We're going to take a different route now. And we're going to go parallel and then cut it straight through here now. Last time we took that route, and now we're just going to go by another route, because so many routes you can take. So the DRT, it stands for debt refusion theory. And the motive, the reason why I say that is the only solution for the public finances where we are now, as we're going in the public. See, says in French here, vous êtes ici, you're here, you are here. That's basically what that says. And, you know, it needs a little bit of translation, but I can do translation no problem, freely, volunteeringly. And please do not pollute, put everything that has to go in the garbage or the recycling. Don't leave trash here, because we got flora, fauna right in the midst of the metropolis island of 2.5 million people. Support the DRT. My brothers and sisters, is the only solution. The DRT, debt refusion theory, stands for D, debt, R, refusion, T for theory. My theory also includes monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory is exactly what was done in the European Union, So my DRT financial theory includes that theory which was implemented in the EU back in the 90s, and they created the ECB, because my DRT theory, debt refusion theory, contains in it monetary integration theory, which is the theory which was of course implemented in the European Union by the creation of a common currency in the ECB, the European Central Bank. The Europeans in the 90s, of course, the Germans got rid of the Deutschmark, the Italians got rid of the lira, the French got rid of the franc, and of course they created a common currency known, of course, as the euro. So my theory includes monetary integration theory, which is the financial theory which was done in the European Union. So it's important to keep that in mind, to keep that in mind, to keep that in mind, of course, to keep that in mind. So we're going to take all the public and the private debt, because the fact, I reiterate the motive, the reason why, of course, we pay so much interest, the reason why we pay so much interest, the reason why we pay so much interest on the public debt of Canada. We paid in 2020, 2021, 20.3 billion, 20.3 billion, 20.3 billion, 20.3 billion, 20.3 billion. So that is, a billion has 9 zeros. That's 1,000 million. That's in 2020, 2021. So this year, 2023, 2024, it's more than doubled to 46.5 billion. Can you imagine? 46.5 billion, 46. So in just 3 years, paying the interest, not the debt, the interest on the debt, debt servicing, in other words, paying the interest on the debt, it more than doubled. In 2020, 2021 fiscal year, it was 20.3, 20.3 double, 20.3 double is 40.6. Now it's 46.5. Can you imagine? 46.5 billion, 46.5 billion. Can you imagine? 46.5 billion. That is 46,000 million, the amount of interest we pay on the public debt. On the public debt, the amount of interest we pay on the public debt. The amount of interest we pay on the public debt. That is a number which is incredible. That is an extraordinary number. That is an extraordinary number. That is catastrophic. There's no solution. But my DRT, debt refugee, paradoxically, there's a beehive nest. There's a beehive nest. Beehives. See, that's a bee nest, but I don't know if it has honey, maybe some leftovers, but I'm not going to try. Whatever. Probably not. It doesn't look like it. But anyway, so the DRT theory explained. Keep in mind, my debt refusion theory includes in it monetary integration theory. Monetary integration theory is exactly what was done in the European Union. So we're going to take all the debt, public and private debt. So my private debt as a private citizen is $10,000 to the RBC. It's $10,000 to the RBC. So I got a debt of $10,000 to the Royal Bank of Canada. So we're going to take all the debt, public and private, public and private, public and private, public and private debt. So my private debt, your private debt, all the debt, all the public and the private debt put together. We're going to take it all. We're going to convert that number, because the United States currency is still the currency of choice for international trade, global finance, world business, import, export, and tourism. So we're going to take all the number, all the debt, public and private, public and private, public and private, public and private, public and private debt. So we're going to take all the private and the public debt, and we need to paint this bench some of that good blue and white, some red, whatever. But so we're going to take all of that together, all of that together. So we're going to take all the public and the private debt. There's 5 people here, 5 people here, 5 people. I'm just going to go by the side and lower my voice a bit, because it might be seeming like I'm screaming, although it's important for me to continue to work, and that's why we got to go do it with that, and that's how we're going to go do it with that. So we're going to take all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt. So my private debt, your private debt, our private debt, all the debt, which is public and the private, which is public and the private, which is public and the private. All the debt, public and private of Canada, converted to US dollar, added with the United States dollar debt. Today, Mexico, for North America, I'm referring for North America, I'm speaking for North America. I'm, of course, speaking for the North American Collective, for what I call the North American Civilizational Complex, because North Americans, myself, I'm a North American Canadian Quebecer, we constitute and compromise a North American Collective Civilizational Complex. We constitute a North American Civilizational Complex. We constitute together Quebecers, Canadians, North Americans. We are North Americans. I'm a North American Canadian Quebecer. This is my home, and it's my home here, you know, Canada, in the past life, in previous incarnations, and in other past lives, and previous incarnations and past lives, and whatever have you. And you know, this is what I love here, and that's what it is with that. And we need to get it on the do, and super important to get it on the finances, and getting for DXYZ. And I'm gonna discuss the DRT, debt refusion theory. The debt refusion theory. So we're gonna discuss the debt. I love that one. That one's a weeping willow. So beautiful. Just so beautiful, so beautiful. Just looks a bit mystic, how it's The weeping willow, so beautiful. Wow. So we're gonna take all the public and the private debt, all the public and the private debt. So my debt, 10,000, yours, coast to coast, all that money converted to US dollars, all that money will be the initial money supply. The initial money supply for a new central bank. Because remember, my DRT contains monetary integration theory, which is the theory which was implemented in the European Union. And they created a common central bank and a common currency. That's why I said at the beginning that my DRT theory contains monetary integration theory. So we're going to take all the debt, public and private debt, and all that is going to be the initial money supply. Initial money supply, initial money supply, the initial money supply, the initial money supply, the initial money supply, the initial money supply, you know. But that's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be doing. So all the debt, public and private, all the debt, public and private, all the debt, public and private, all the debt, public and private debt, all the debt, public and private, all that debt. That was going to be billions. That's going to be the initial money supply for this new central bank of North America. And we're going to create a new currency called, based on the value of the US dollars, because that's why we do the conversion, which we're going to call the UE, U dot universal, E dot exchange unit. The U dot universal, E dot exchange unit. The UE, the UE, the UE, the UE, the UE. The UE, the U dot universal, E dot exchange unit. Based on the value of the US dollar, we're going to set an interest rate level limit of 10%. It's going to be 10% maximum. It could be 3.33, 7.18, 6.1, 9.3, 4.18, 7.18, below 10 by principle by that. By principle by that, below 10 by principle after that. So all that money is going to be the initial money supply for this new central bank. This new central bank. Just like the ECB. That's why I said at the beginning that my DRT theory contains monetary integration theory, which is the financial theory performed and did in the 90s. It's been decades ago. They did it in Europe. So my DRT theory contains that theory. And we're going to create the UE. With all that money, we're going to be able to mass finance the rebuilding of the infrastructure of the collective North American complex, mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise. It's done me lots of good in the past 7 years when I got out of depression, when I crossed after my event, that event that changed my life, when I crossed Canada coast to coast, 2017. And of course, to mass finance citizens to work out, train, exercise, mass finance citizens fitness, mass finance tourism, people to go tourism across North America to go visit places. We're going to mass finance tourism, mass finance the rebuilding of the infrastructure of North America, the rebuilding of the infrastructure of North America, the rebuilding of the infrastructure of North America. And we're going to do a lot of good. We're going to finance defense, open some mountains like Cheyenne, and we're going to do a lot of defense drills, open up mountains for the defense of North American complex, Operation Northern Scorpio with the Hawk, in order to defend coast to coast and institutionalize the two public-private partnership, the Dragon Army, aka North American Citizen Integrated Security and Service, defense only, security service with of course the Dancing Goddess Army. The Dancing Goddess Army with, of course, the Dancing Goddess Army, North American Integrated Dance League for security service, and parallel, of course, to be for the implementation of my Trinity of theories, and of course to be for the environment, to clean the environment for aiding and recycling and dancing being my favorite sport. And that's about it. Rock and roll with that. 24/7 dance geopolitics. The DRT, my brothers and sisters, is the only solution. You can argue all you want, from the left, from the right, from the center. I'm a pro-labor, love, universal, revolutionary centrist. My centrism is tied hand in hand with my Trinity of theories, the CIT citizen integration theory, the DRT detrol fusion theory, and the democratic fusion, DFT democratic fusion. The democratic fusion, that Trinity of theories, needs to be implemented via that LOV. Create the UE. And of course, create defense, more defense. We're going to play that defense like that hardball ball. Like the hardball, aka blackout ball, hardball ball. All my favorite Super Bowls where my Niners lost. Not by a lot, but they lost by defense to the Ravens. So we're going to play defense like that hardball ball. The UE needs to be created. My DRT theory, detrol fusion theory, is the only solution. Listen, in more than double paying interest. You can argue all you want, but it's got to be done now. It has to be done. There's no other way now out of where we are now with the public finances. You can check these numbers with the Bank of Canada. my citizen brother Tiff Mackler, Bank of Canada government Tiff Mackler. Of course, the numbers are there, 46.5 billion in interest, paying this fiscal year, 2023, 2024. There's no solution. You want to argue all you want. You can argue the next year, in the coming 3.5 years, 5 years, 7 years, 40 plus years, but that's it, that's all. There's no solution. There's no solution. There's no solution. All you argue, all you want, there's no solution. That's the DRT. It has to be done coast to coast, ocean to ocean, and we got to be doing on the XYZ, and that's what we're going to be doing for the love, you know. Somebody got to be making some good loving tonight. North Americans unite. That's the call. Support the dream. Support the DRT, the dancing goddess, and the dragon kingdom. My dream is fundamentally a call to all willingly loving for a PPP, public-private partnership, 21st century. I dance, I rock and roll, I do geopolitics. Dance, rock and roll, geopolitics, 24/7 geopolitics. I predicted what's happening now. In 2019, October, I have proof of work. I predicted it back in 2019, so that it is what it is, and that's what it is with the drill, so that's what it is, and I predicted it, so here we go, so I'm going to switch to that French because we're La Belle Province. Grateful, thankful, my rent's paid, electricity bill is paid, and encouraging all the workout, train, exercise. It's my medicine and therapy of choice. Take a little bit of nature and look at these beauties. Let's go rock and roll, DRT, support the dream, the dancing goddess, and the dragon kingdom. North Americans unite. North American Collective Workers Party, the North American Collective Workers Party, North American Collective Workers Party, blah blah blah. Et on est dans le parc encore. La gratitude qu'on commence avec une chanson de rock and roll, par la gauche puis par la droite, avec de l'eau. On fait une chanson puis une tune ensemble, la danse. Les infirmières, camionneurs qui sont sur la route, les travailleurs publics, sur les chemins de construction, avec les grues, ça va au travail public. Ça change les aqueducs. Puis moi, je suis dans la forêt, je chante, puis ça danse, puis ça dessine. Des activités qu'on fasse tous ensemble, ouais, des pompes, puis la danse, l'écureuil. Ça mange, ça se gratte. Ouais, jusqu'aux îles de la Madeleine, puis de retour. De chez nous, de ma grotte, votre dragon en arc-en-ciel. Des fois, messieurs, madame, ouais, le soleil se couche, puis se lève en rouge, la couleur que je préfère. Bougez bien les fesses, la rouge, les rouges, le bleu puis le blanc, le noir, le blanc et l'arc-en-ciel. Tango, regarde vers le ciel, les mains dans les airs puis les chatouilles. Ça fouille. Pas d'argent pour une guitare, pas grave, sur les pattes. Eh oui. Du rock roll 24/24 avec votre dragon arc-en-ciel. Je veux toujours y aller maintenant à la discussion de la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, parce que votre artiste athlète Aspi, avec l'Asperger, soit aussi connu sous le nom d'autisme hautement fonctionnel, qui est philosophe. Je suis philosophe, artiste, athlète. Puis bien sûr, je vous propose sur la table la solution en ce moment. C'est la solution qu'il faut le dire. C'est la solution. C'est la seule et unique solution, bien sûr, pour le faire de la solution. Ici, de la belle province de Montréal, dans le parc en Grignon, je vous encourage à faire l'entraînement physique 7 ans. En 2007, j'ai traversé le Canada de côte à côte, puis je marque 5 ans depuis que j'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant dans le monde d'une manière générale, pas tout en détail, mais je l'ai prévu parce que la géopolitique est mon intérêt obsessif, puis je suis moi-même un analyste et théoricien en géopolitique indépendant, puis que c'est la géopolitique 24/24 chez nous dans ma grotte avec le rock and roll, puis la danse, le sport, l'entraînement physique. C'est ma trinité d'intérêt obsessif. C'est ça l'Asperger, l'autisme hautement fonctionnel. J'ai des choses de neurodivergence, ce n'est pas une maladie mentale, je suis neurodivergent, j'ai des intérêts obsessifs. C'est l'entraînement physique, la danse, l'entraînement physique. Et bien sûr, la danse, l'entraînement physique, la danse, c'est mon sport préféré, puis bien sûr, c'est 24/24 le rock'n'roll, puis bien sûr, la géopolitique, j'ai prévu qu'est-ce qui se passe maintenant dans le monde. Je l'ai prévu en 2019. Je marque 5 ans, depuis que j'ai prévu, bien sûr, d'une manière générale, une conflagration internationale, soit une 3e guerre mondiale. C'est ça que j'ai prévu, une 3e guerre mondiale, c'est ça que j'ai prévu, bien sûr, une 3e guerre mondiale, que j'ai prévu, bien sûr, j'ai prévu, bien sûr, une 3e guerre mondiale, bien sûr, pour faire, puis je vous encourage à faire l'entraînement physique, donc encourage encore une fois ici de Parc en Guignon, puis avant que je vous dise de faire des pompes, et je dois vous faire un petit conseil, puis pour bien sûr faire un petit conseil pour faire l'entraînement physique, puis pour que vous fassiez bien sûr de l'entraînement physique, bien sûr, c'est ma médecine et thérapie de choix, puis bien sûr je vous encourage de soutenir la Trinité de théorie. Et bien sûr, la Trinité de théorie, ça vient avec une autre théorie, bien sûr, que ça fait bien sûr une théorie de la refusion de la dette que je dois vous discuter parce que c'est la seule et unique solution qu'il faut faire l'implémentation le plus tôt possible. Pourquoi je dis ça, bien sûr? Pourquoi je dis ça, bien sûr? Pourquoi je dis ça, bien sûr? C'est car vous vous faites qu'aujourd'hui, on paye 46,5 milliards d'intérêts, c'est le montant d'intérêt qu'on paye sur la dette publique. Encore une fois, je répète, on paye 46,5 milliards d'intérêts, c'est un paradoxe bien sûr, mais maintenant qu'on paye 46,5 milliards, ça a plus que doublé en 2020-2021, c'était 20,3 milliards d'intérêts, maintenant c'est rendu 46,5. Fait que double de 20,3, ça aurait été double, ça aurait été 40,6. Il n'y a pas d'autre solution, mes chers, vous pouvez vous ostiner. La seule solution en ce moment, c'est la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Ma théorie qui s'appelle la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, pour la création de l'unité d'échange universelle. Puis, je dois vous la discuter maintenant, je dois vous la discuter maintenant. Fait que c'est quoi l'affaire? Ben, il faut dire, encore une fois, premièrement, que ça sort d'un paradoxe que la géopolitique, c'est mon intérêt obsessif. Et donc, à cause de la géopolitique, on doit savoir un peu sur les travailleurs publics, sur les travaux publics. Et bien sûr, c'est ça, bien sûr. Et donc, bien sûr, c'est des choses comme ça, bien sûr, qu'il faut faire, bien sûr, qu'on va faire, bien sûr, des choses comme ça. Et donc, il faut dire, là, je faisais une méditation sur les travaux publics, puis je les encourage bien sûr pour les faire, bien sûr, bien sûr, sur l'entraînement physique, bien sûr, c'est le travail qu'ils vont faire ici, ben, c'est important. Fait que je dois méditer, je médite bien sûr les finances et tout du point de vue de la géopolitique. Je rentre ça dans le contexte géopolitique un peu, mais je faisais juste une petite méditation. Et donc, c'est pour des choses comme ça, bien sûr, qu'il faut que je fasse moi-même. S'il faut que je fasse moi-même, il faut que je fasse moi-même des méditations. Donc, c'est des choses de moi-même que je dois faire. Et bien sûr, de faire l'intérêt dans ces choses-là. Puis, c'est des choses qu'il faut que je fasse moi-même pour la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette, théorie de la refusion de la dette, théorie de la refusion de la dette, bien sûr. La TRD, c'est la seule et unique solution, je peux vous dire. Là. On paye 46,5 milliards d'intérêts. Ça a plus que doublé là, en 3 ans. Mais cher, il n'y a pas d'autre solution en ce moment. Il n'y a pas d'autre solution en ce moment. Que la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. La TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. La théorie de la refusion de la dette. La théorie de la refusion de la dette. La TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Bien sûr, ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire. C'est quoi la théorie d'intégration monétaire? C'est qu'est-ce qu'ils ont fait en Europe? Les Européens, les années 80, ils ont enlevé leur ancienne monnaie, ils ont fait la création d'une monnaie commune en Europe. Les Allemands, les Italiens, plusieurs pays ont détruit leur banque centrale puis leur ancienne monnaie. Des années 80, ça fait bien des années, ça fait des décennies, là, plus que 25 ans, ils ont fait la création d'une banque centrale commune, les Européens. Fait que ma TRD, ça contient cette théorie. Fait qu'on va prendre toute la dette publique-privée, mon 10 000, de dette, puis tenez compte, ça inclut la théorie d'intégration monétaire. Fait qu'on va prendre mon 10 000, j'ai 10 000 de dette à la Banque royale du Canada. Mon 10 000, ton 10 000, de compte à compte, toute la dette publique privée. Toute la dette publique privée, toute la dette publique privée. De compte à compte. Vu que la devise des États-Unis est encore la monnaie de choix pour le commerce global, les finances internationales, l'import, l'export, le tourisme, puis bien sûr les affaires étrangères. On va faire la conversion de toute la dette publique, toute la dette publique, on va faire la conversion dans la devise des États-Unis. On va faire la conversion dans la devise des États-Unis. Fait que toute la dette publique privée, toute la dette publique privée, toute la dette publique privée, bien sûr, on va faire une refusion. Fait que toute la dette, on va convertir dans la devise, toute la dette publique privée, on va convertir dans la dette, dans la devise des États-Unis. Dans la devise des États-Unis. Fait que toute cette dette-là, on va faire la conversion. Tout cet argent-là, on va faire l'addition avec la dette publique privée des États-Unis puis du Mexique. S'il va, je parle le Canada. Premièrement, Canada, la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Puis tenez compte encore une fois que ma TRD, de votre dragon arc-en-ciel, la théorie de la refusion de la dette, qui est la seule et unique solution, vu encore une fois qu'on paye, que le taux d'intérêt, le montant qu'on paye sur l'intérêt, l'intérêt qu'on paye sur la dette publique, ça a plus que doublé en 3 ans. C'est sauté de 20,3 en 2020 à 46,5 milliards. Ça, c'est 46 000 millions. Ça, on ne peut pas y aller à l'avance avec ça, là. Et on ne peut pas continuer de même. C'est avec des catastrophes dans les finances publiques. On ne pourra plus avoir des services publics, là. Pour ne pas avoir des services publics, il faut faire la TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. La TRD, théorie de la refusion de la dette. Donc, il faut prendre toute la dette publique-privée, toute la dette publique-privée, bien sûr, toute la dette publique-privée, toute la dette publique-privée, bien sûr, pour la faire ensemble, pour la faire ensemble, pour en faire ensemble, et bien sûr, pour la faire ensemble, pour en faire ensemble. Donc, on va prendre toute la dette publique, bien sûr, pour les faire, bien sûr, pour la dette publique, toute la dette, on va prendre ensemble, toute la dette publique-privée, tout cet argent-là, on va faire l'addition, puis là, ça rentre, que je vous ai dit que ma TRD, ça contient la théorie d'intégration monétaire. Théorie d'intégration monétaire, théorie d'intégration monétaire. Donc, on va faire la création d'une théorie, la théorie de la refusion de la dette, ça inclut la théorie d'intégration monétaire. Fait qu'on va faire la conversion de toute la dette, avec cet argent-là, on va faire fonder une nouvelle banque, comme qu'ils ont fait en Europe, en Amérique du Nord. Premièrement, Canada, États-Unis, mais Mexique, Haïti, Civilisation, les autres pays, mais pour le collectif nord-américain, premièrement. Fait que toute cette dette-là, ça va être, dans un milliard, ça va être l'argent initial pour la fondation de cette nouvelle banque. Fait que toute la dette publique-privée, ça va être l'argent en circulation initiale pour la nouvelle banque. Fait que toute la dette publique-privée, ça va être l'argent initial pour la création de cette nouvelle banque. On va mettre en circulation une nouvelle monnaie qu'on va appeler l'UI, basée sur la valeur du dollar américain. C'est pour ça qu'il y a une conversion. C'est pour ça qu'il y a une conversion de la dette publique-privée canadienne dans la devise des États-Unis, dans l'argent des États-Unis. Tout cet argent-là, on va le mettre dans le paquet. On va faire la fondation d'une nouvelle banque centrale. En circulation, on va mettre une nouvelle monnaie qui aura la valeur du dollar des États-Unis. UI. En anglais, on ne s'ostinera pas. En anglais puis en français, c'est pareil. UI. C'est U point unité, E point échange, U point universel. UI. U point unité, E point échange, U point universel. U point unité, E point échange, U point universel. UI. L'unité d'échange universelle. L'unité d'échange universelle. U point unité, E point échange, U point universel. UI. L'unité d'échange universelle. L'unité d'échange universelle. UI. U point unité, E point échange, U point universel. U point unité, E point échange, U point universel. UI. U point unité, E point échange, U point universel. UI. Unité d'échange universelle. On va mettre un taux de valeur de 10% maximum sur la dette, de taux d'intérêt 10% après ça. Ça peut être 3,33, 7,18, 4,18, 6,1, 9,3, en bas de 10 par principe. Mais pas plus que 10 par principe. Avec tout cet argent-là, on va rebâtir l'infrastructure de l'Amérique du Nord. On va rebâtir l'infrastructure. On va fonder, bien sûr, Pour la défense, on va ouvrir des montagnes, on va offrir des montagnes, on va offrir des montagnes. Pour la défense, on va financer les gens à faire de l'entraînement physique. On va bien sûr financer les gens à faire du tourisme. On va bâtir d'autres centrales de l'Hydro-Québec. C'est à 40 et 44, 40 et 44, 40 et 40. Je sais pas pourquoi, mais en tout cas. Fait que c'est l'Halloween, j'aurais aimé voir la réduction des prix, puis c'est ça pour ça, il faut faire la théorie de la refusion de la dette, et bien sûr, il faut mettre en valeur toutes ces choses-là qu'on a ici, puis that's all pour aujourd'hui. Je me demande, tu vois, c'est l'Asperger, je me dis pourquoi ça les chiffres 40, et après ça une ligne, puis 44, 40 et 44, 40. Ben, ça reste quand même un mystère, mais il y a quand même des choses que, en tant qu'aspi, vous voyez, c'est des choses un peu bizarres que je regarde, puis je fixe, puis je me pose des questions là-dessus. C'est ça la neurodivergence, c'est ça l'autisme. J'ai des choses étranges, bien sûr. That's it, that's all.